Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and welcome back to another weight loss video. Hope you enjoy. Many of you are eating far too few calories. Hi all, Avid Lurker here. There's two variations of posts I see here nearly every day. One is obscenely low number of calories enough. Two, I feel extremely weak and can't work out. I eat barely enough calories to sustain a newborn child. Yes, of course you need to be in a deficit, but aggressively cutting calories may hinder your progress or more likely make you binge or stop trying altogether. You need enough food to fuel your daily life and power your workouts. It's all about doing something that's sustainable and healthy, folks. Slow and steady wins the race. All of last year, I tried doing 1200 calories and kept binging after a few days, but I'd try again and again. Lost and gained the same 5 pounds all year. January 1st, my husband suggested increasing my calorie range. I debated him, but decided screw it, let me show him this will be a waste of time. Changed my setting from sedentary to slightly active. I now consistently eat 1500 to 1700 calories and have lost 10 pounds. I think a lot of people go from overeating to undereating with no in between. Before I started tracking, I knew I was overeating, so I had to learn to eat at maintenance first. Once I've gotten used to this amount of calories, then I can go into a bigger deficit. I'm still in a very small deficit most days, 250, and I go over on a couple of days, but it evens out. But going from overeating by 500 to 1000 calories or more to being in a 500 calorie or more deficit is a recipe for disaster unless you know what you're doing, and most people do not know what they're doing. I thought I had to cut it a lot, anywhere from 800 to 1200 calories, but then when I stopped listening to the BS fitness influencers or YouTubers and actually found decent ones who tell the truth, I realized all I was doing was starving myself. So I bumped up my calories from 1500 to 1800. If I eat less, I eat less. If I eat more on one day, then I eat more, as long as it's not daily. But generally and consistently staying in the 1500 to 1800 range, I lost 60 pounds last time. I did gain most back on because of lockdown, but since I started implementing all the same things I did last time, I've lost 70 pounds since September. It is a slow weight loss this time around, but I prefer it that way. I can learn healthier habits and get used to it. Honestly, I think most people on the subreddit are going at their losses backwards. I've lost a bunch of weight a bunch of times, and what I've discovered is there's a direct correlation on my mental health and my weight. A person can choose to restrict severely to punish themselves, and that can actually feel good if they deeply hate themselves. I've been there. It worked for 6 months, and then I fell back. You can usually tell who is doing it this way by how fast they lose or are trying to lose. When you hate yourself, you do anything to get out of your own body. I think the most overlooked factor here is emotional health and well-being, as well as self-love. It's widely known that incremental changes are far more effective than sudden starts and stops, and a smaller deficit means slower weight loss. Slower weight loss is much healthier in a number of ways, but you do have to continue to be heavy for a while longer. Particularly people who have a lot to lose should consider slowing down because it could help their skin adjust if the weight comes off super slowly. It also just gives you more time to learn healthy habits, and you're not miserable all day and obsessive over food. Also, addressing past traumas and what food really means is so important, and I rarely see this addressed. Is food comfort? If so, restricting that can easily lead to a meltdown. Therapy is something that many people who are in the morbidly obese category would truly benefit from. Typically, a high weight signifies some kind of mental health issue. That's not always true, but worth looking into. I think another thing that's rough is weight loss for shorter women. If your maintenance calories are sitting around 1500, then a 500 calorie deficit is going to have you around 1000, which is already too low. And then a lot of times we'll convince ourselves that we still need a bigger deficit, maybe even going down to 800. The truth is that weight loss when you're under 5'3" is just friggin' harder. And it's unfair, but it might be a slower, more difficult process for us if the biggest deficit we can manage is 300. But going below 1200 is not going to help you lose weight any faster, or any healthier, or more sustainable. It's dangerous, and that sucks, but that just is what it is. I once told my doctor about trying to strictly stay around 1,200 calories a day, and I ended up in an ED program for 6 months. I've since learned that all food is okay, and to make sure I'm eating enough to sustain life. The stats on extreme dieting are not good. The majority of people that limit their calories in extreme ways will gain back their weight plus more. The key to success is building a healthy relationship with food, because food will always be in your life. I have also learned to appreciate my body for everything it does outside of how it looks. Our bodies are amazing. Since then, I began eating more of a Mediterranean diet of food that makes me feel good and fueling my body with nutritional healthy food. The rule, though, is that nothing is off limits or a bad food. I have lost weight, but I'm not obsessed with the scale. This is a lifestyle change that will last with me forever. Food delivers so many nutrients to us, and it is so incredibly amazing. Our bodies are incredible no matter what we think. They are keeping us alive and working so hard to do it. Make sure you reward them with sustainable and appropriate amounts of food. I see this so often. Baby steps are much better than aggressively cutting calories. Your body needs fuel to work properly. And most of us did not gain all the extra weight in 2 months, but we expect to drop it ASAP. That's just not how it works. It's hard and you need discipline, but there's no way around it if you want to lose weight healthily and be able to sustain it and maintain your then goal weight. I'm glad that this post has gained traction. I almost left the subreddit a couple times because a lot of what's encouraged here is straight up bad health. Taking in fewer calories than you burn is obviously how weight is lost, but the manner in which I see people talking about it here and encouraged is troublesome to say the least. You shouldn't be starving yourself. You shouldn't be feeling the ache of hunger regularly. The point of watching your calories isn't so you can say, oh, if I only eat half this McDonald's burger, then I'm still in my range for today. The point is to find foods that are less calorie dense so that you can feel both full and consume fewer calories. Agreed. As a very short woman, 5'3", I thought it was totally reasonable for me to eat 1,200 calories a day while walking 10 kilometers each day. And sure, I lost 20 pounds in 3 months, but I frequently cried and broke down over calories and food, was constantly fatigued and suffering with headaches, and at the end of those 3 months, half my hair fell off in clumps in just a few short weeks. I'm trying to eat a more reasonable amount of calories now, even though I still have quite a bit of weight to lose, because even as a short woman who doesn't really exercise, 1,200 calories made me physically ill. I wish my mother-in-law would accept this. She insists that she can only lose weight if she restricts to only 600 calories a day. She knows she can't do this for very long, like 8 weeks, but of course, she also thinks she can't lose very much, like she just sees it as impossible. It's so self-limiting and frustrating to see. She is short and very sedentary due to mobility issues, so she does have to eat quite a bit less than most people, but she takes it to an extreme. The idea of moderation or learning healthier habits is not something she can comprehend, or more accurately, refuses to comprehend. I've known her for a long time now, and I can tell you, her approach doesn't work. It's so unsustainable. The amount she can lose before she has to quit the diet is very limited, and then of course, she always regains it. She's completely stuck and unable to actually lose weight, keep it off, and be healthy. I told her about 1,200 as a suggested minimum, but she won't accept it or try it. She just points out how others move more or are taller. Silly, stubborn woman. I view any non-professional advice as a generalization, and I remind myself not to get caught up on numbers. Depending on their activity level, people who are just above or within their non-overweight BMI range, a 1,200 to 1,500 plan is probably fine. People significantly above that range might need 2,200, 3,000, or more. These are all just varied examples of a calories in, calories out approach. The fact that the number is different for different people is because weight loss is individualistic. And that brings us to the end of the video, Narwhals. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please tap subscribe to join our awesome community, the Narwhals, and for more weight loss stories that help you stay on track. And here's our featured Narwhal of the day. After approximately a year in total, I'm down 62 pounds. And this is for that G who said, keep us posted, LOL. My conclusion is, as long as you're consistent, you will see results. Losing the weight probably won't cure your depression or body ED. Quality of life over the top though. You got this.